make this quick, but it's November the 14th, and we're going back in. It's day number 15 for me. Yesterday was my first sit in this area. I went in the evening before, but didn't find what I wanted, and I didn't push to where I wanted to go. Yesterday I played it a little more conservative, just because I wasn't sure what the movement was going to be. I got as far as I could and still be able to have somewhat decent of a setup. Where we're going today in that bedding area is all pretty young timber, so it makes it really hard to set up, and we have to be pinpoint accurate on where we set up, because otherwise we could have a buck come by at 20 or 25 yards and might not get a shot at him. If we have to, we get back in there. If I can't see enough to make that decision, I will wait till it starts getting daylight. We'll just have to fill that out as we go. We'll see you in the tree shortly. Well, we're set up. I've already had action. I just had what looked like a really nice 2-year-old buck come up the ridge right at me. And I think I may have pushed in about 20 yards too far. Hopefully if we see a good one, he doesn't do what that one just did, because he come up, it was on a beeline right for me, and hit my ground scent and then looped around me. I talked about that this morning and maybe last night, that was the only thing I didn't like about this spot, was you cut your opportunities down big time because of how you have to walk in. It doesn't matter how you loop, you're going to be kind of hurting yourself. It's a hard spot to get into. I'm in the biggest tree I could find, and it's probably 8 inches in diameter. I'm on got my stand hung on one of the forks. I've got a little sapling right in front of me. It'll be a rodeo if we actually see a shooter. I'm kind of glad that deer didn't make it into range, because he was just a 2-year-old, but I would bet anything that he was close to 17 inches wide. If that deer lives, he will be a giant. He's about 17 inches wide, but he only had 6-7 inch G2s and about 4 inch G3s. 2.5 inch brow tines. More or less, this is about the same setup I killed my deer in Illinois. We've got this bedding ridge with some really good bedding points off the other side, the south side. I scouted it the other day, and there was a bunch of doe beds, fresh doe beds in the snow. Kicked a few up. A few good rubs. There's a bunch of scrapes right on top of the ridge above me, and a couple scrapes just barely above me and out the ridge a little bit. We got a forecasted south or southwest wind, so we're on the downwind side of this ridge. If a big buck was going to cruise for does, we're in the right spot. I just don't know if we're in the exact right spot. Hopefully they come straight up the hill or from in front of me, not the way I walked. We'll see. I'm gonna get quiet. Okay, it's about 11:15. We haven't had we haven't seen anything else since a string of does. But that nice 2-year-old 8-pointer, the the spike and those 6 does all kind of come from the same spot down here and went a different way. I think I found me a tree down there that I can get in. I don't know what I've got for shots, but it's about 40-45 yards below where I'm at right now. I haven't put any ground scent down that far either. Looks like there's a bench that goes down the ridge right there. I'm either going to go right down there or I'm going to go out the ridge just a little and then also down. I'm leaning towards right here because I haven't walked down there. I've been out the ridge a little. I'll probably hunt in here again tomorrow. So if I can get in a good tree this afternoon, I might actually leave my stand for a change. Like I said, it's about 11:15. We'll probably get down and get up in another tree about 12:30, something like that. We're moving right now. I called that. Now that buck's a little off. He was going the wrong way, but he was right on those does trail. And this downwind side works good as long as the deer's not that far below you. so cold. I don't have much thermal rise today, so my wind's going right to him. You could see there that he smelled me, but he didn't want to give up on those does. But let me look at my watch. It's 11:30. I just don't want that to happen and it be a big one, you know. So I'm gonna tear down real fast and move down there. Get back up in the tree as fast as possible. I'll check back in as soon as we get back up. Oh, well guys, I don't know what, if anything, I got of that on camera there at the end of the night. Basically, the whole hunt was dead. After I saw that buck at 11:30 and then moved, I didn't see anything else until about 10 or 12 minutes before the end of legal light. I heard a deer running off of the ridge across from me. And I could tell that it was getting closer to me. And then I heard what sounded like a second deer, and then I heard grunting. And it sounded like they were getting up onto the ridge I was on. And I felt like that if they did, based off what I had seen earlier in the day, they were probably going to come right by me. All I knew is there was a buck chasing a doe and he was grunting pretty good. Well, I couldn't hear him that well for a minute, and then the doe just popped out about 15 yards from my stand and walks 5 yards from it, and I'm like, well, we're in the money now. At this point, I've got the GoPro on. I've got the big camera running, but she come on the bad side, so I couldn't get her on the big camera, and I just kind of spun it that direction and just tried to get some of the audio, if nothing else. But then the buck pops out, and it's that freaking Spike from earlier. So he chased her around for a minute, and then they ended up running back to the ridge they come from. So it's kind of a bad sign when the Spike is running your potentially hot doe. But I did something I normally don't do, and I left my stand in there and left my bow, left the camera arm, brought all the camera equipment so I could charge everything that needs to be charged. But I just felt like in the morning, I don't know of anything right off that would be better for me to go to. I don't have much for shot opportunities in that tree, but it is a halfway decent funnel. There's a deep ditch that I'm at the head of, and that's where pretty much every deer I've seen has come up from. I think they're coming off of that ridge across from me from what I could tell from a distance, is there's a lot of oaks over there. So I'm betting they're feeding over there at night and then coming back to the ridge I'm on to bed. So I could take my stand in and just guess at another spot, but I feel like the most productive thing for me to do is go back in there in the morning and sit. It hasn't been very productive in the evenings, so we may sit till lunchtime, get down, and then go scout another area, stand on the back, kind of like we did in Illinois. But I'm gonna get out of here, get something to eat, get some rest. I am exhausted. We'll see you in the morning.